Okay, I'm going to try to make this really quick. I'm going to show you how we draw up the project, the little toy truck. I'm going to record it the way I do it and talk you through it, obviously. But I want you to remember the way you use a video like this is if you do not understand a step, you pause it, you go back, you watch it again. And of course, if you understand and you can work through, you scrub, you fast forward through it. You could even turn the speed up if you think I'm talking too slow. So use it the way you want to use it. Um, don't forget, some people may need to watch it 3 times, some people may need to watch it once, some people may get it straight away, flick to the end and go, yeah, I know all this, and I'm going to do it. That's fine. Okay. We call it flipped learning. So we record the lesson and you watch it whenever. Obviously, if you learn best just after you've had breakfast at 8:30 in the morning, watch it then. If you learn best at 5 in the afternoon, you watch it then. There's nothing to stop you. You can watch it any time you want, and you can watch it as many times as you want. Okay, I'm going to go through it quickly, and I'm I'm going to try to not make it too fancy and edit and stuff like that. So I'm just going to record it. If I make a mistake, I'm human. Sometimes I do things and think, oh, maybe I should have done it another way. First of all, I want you to go to that link, app.sketchup.com. It'll bring you to a sign in page. You need to sign in with your Google School account, your classroom account. The first time you log in, you'll probably just be thrown straight into the 3D modeling screen. So I'll show you what that looks like. Something like that. It depends when you watch this video if they've changed the version. The character here changes every time they update a version. So at the moment, I've got that bloke, good looking bloke. However, if you've logged in for the first time and it's thrown you into this screen, when you start to draw, bang, you'll find that you're in feet and inches. Okay, we don't want to work in feet and inches. Nobody wants to work in feet and inches. Ugh. So I'm going to get you to click on the 3 bars, and even if you think you're not on feet and inches, let's all do it together. Click on the 3 little straight lines up there and go home. Okay, I'm not going to save that. You'll come to a screen like this. There's all the drawings we've done. Um, you're going to click on the little arrow, the down arrow here. Make sure you're on millimeters. I know that you'll be tempted to pick centimeters, but do not. We don't want to work in centimeters. We want to work in millimeters for this drawing. If I was doing a house or a building, I'd work in meters, um, but I want to work in millimeters. I don't know, maybe if you're doing some homework for math or something like that, you'll work in centimeters, but millimeters. It'll take you to this screen, and we should be, if I draw something and look down the bottom there, we should be millimeters. I'm going to Control Z that. Now, the person that is there for a sense of scale. So, when I zoom in and out, you can see that my camera, my viewpoint is far away. Okay, let's go through the first fundamentals, the basics, okay? Very hard to do this with a trackpad. I don't even know if you can, but I'm going to pick the select arrow down there. Have a look down here. There's our tools, and over the right hand side, we've got some properties there like views and materials and stuff like that. But most of our drawing stuff is here to start with. Okay, the mouse. If I roll the wheel, the middle wheel on your mouse, which you should have, perhaps you've got like a one with a touchpad or something like that. But if you run your finger in the middle, you should zoom in and out. If you don't, you need to get a mouse, and preferably a mouse with a wheel. And I haven't seen one without one for a long time. Now, if I click the wheel, which is a button, I can, what we want to do is orbit. So you see how I'm orbiting around like a planet orbiting around another planet. Okay, so I'm orbiting around a, a point somewhere in this virtual space. Go up, go down. If I hold down Shift and I click the middle button, I do what's called panning about. So I'm not orbiting, I'm going left, right, up and down in one position, okay? So roll the wheel is zoom, shift and button is pan, button by itself is orbit. Okay? Beautiful. If you can do that, you can do what we're going to do now. Okay, so I'm always moving around in 3D when I draw. I can see three colored lines. They're my perpendicular axes, okay, my axes. So I've got the green one, which I used to have a lot of problems remembering, but it's the Y, okay? The red is the X, and the blue is the Z, okay? Um, we may just talk about that as we go. So we've got Y, X, Z. Now, SketchUp works a little different than Onshape. If you've used Onshape with us, we don't draw in separate drawings and assemble it together. We draw in the one big drawing, but while we're doing it, we make things components, which is the same as Onshape. So I'm going to start with the base of my truck I'm going to draw. And I'm going to start from the dead center, the origin, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so that makes it easy for me. I'm going to drag. Okay, so I'll show you again. Down here on the left, there's the rectangle. It'll be the last tool you use. So if I had drawn a circle and I come down here, it'll be circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 icons down on this bar on the left is my drawing tools. I've got polygons, circles, arcs, and rectangles. I'm going to pick a rectangle. I can start anywhere, but I'm going to start from the origin. I'm going to do it the way I would do it, okay? So I'm going to click the left button once. I'm going to move my mouse. Now I don't hold my finger on the left button, I just move it. And you can see the way the color of the rectangle changes. If I go like that, I'm drawing up the blue axis, okay? I want to be here on this plane, and I'm going to just move it roughly. And I'm going to type in the dimensions I want. So for me, I'm going to start with 250 by 65. And that's millimeters, and that's proportional to an average size human. Okay, that's what it would look like. Now, if I zoom in, roll the wheel, I can see that I've drawn a two-dimensional shape. I've drawn a sketch, and I want to add a feature to it. The feature is a push-pull. So below my rectangle, there'll be a button with a bunch of features. Okay, push-pull. I've got a revolve, I think, which is called Follow Me. Now, the names are slightly different than Onshape. They've made them a little more easier to understand for the layman. Okay, they wanted this software to be very easy to use. So push pull makes sense. I'm going to select push pull. If I had done a revolve, it would have been a revolve. So I have to click on it, change to the tool. So it looks like a little square being pulled up, being extruded up. Okay. Now I'm going to move along, move my mouse along and see how the face of it goes this dotted highlighted pattern. Okay. I'm going to click once and take my finger off the mouse and just move it in the direction I want to go. I can only move up and down. I usually go up and I'm going to type in the thickness of the timber I'm going to use. Okay, I want this to be a scale, perfectly scaled model. I'm going to type in 19 and hit enter or return. Okay, I've got my first bit of timber. I'm going to click on select. I'm going to drag a box around from the left around the whole thing. Now there is a difference between dragging from the right and dragging from the left. And I'll go into that in more detail later. Okay, so I'm going to drag from the left, and I've given myself plenty of space. So a lot of times I see students, I come over here and they'll click, you like that noise? That's a student. Just go up where you got plenty of room, drag a box around it, whole thing, and it's all gone blue. That means everything is selected. When I click on things, they go blue or they highlight. They're selected. I want to select everything. I could go around it one at a time and go, making that noise again. Okay, but the easy way is just to come to the left, drag a box around it, all blue. Then I'm going to bring my mouse onto it, right click, and make it a component. I'm going to have a few components. So I'm going to give them a name. Actually, I'll call it base. Something very simple. So the base of our job. Now it's a component. So when I click on it now, I don't just get a face or an edge. I get the whole thing because it's all connected. It's all grouped together now. If I double click on it, I'll then be able to select it and I'll be in what we call edit mode. I don't want to do that yet. I'm going to go out. It's a component. So I want you to double check you've done that correctly by clicking once on the object. If it goes blue everywhere, we're right to go. If it doesn't, you need to go back a step and double check what you've done wrong. Now, just like in the workshop, we probably would cut that out first. The biggest piece you cut out first, okay? That way, if you make a mistake, you can always turn it into a smaller piece. And then I'm going to start drawing a few other pieces I have in my hand. Okay, out of the same material, I'm going to do the front like an engine. Okay, so I'm going to click on that corner, the top corner there, and I'm going to bring it down like this. Now, I usually move my mouse so I can get a bit of an idea of the orientation I'm going. See that down the bottom? It goes 100, 85 or 65. Okay, so I'm just going to type in. Now, I don't have to click in that box. I didn't mention that before. I just type what I want. 65, comma, 65, no spaces, no full stops or anything like that. If I did a full stop, it'll be like 65.65. So 65, comma, 65, hit enter. Now, I've drawn on top of this. If I brought that down with my move button, you would see there's a square floating in space, okay? So it's on top. It's not part of it. It's on top. I'm going to go push pull, click on that, and bring it up. One click and I let go. I didn't hold down the mouse. That's what I wanted to do when I first learned this software, and it drove me crazy. You just got to relax, click once, and then pull it whatever direction. Obviously, I don't want to go down, go up. I'm going to type in 19, hit enter. Now, I'm going to drag from the left around that square that I just drew, and I'm not really worried about what part of this goes in it. I may as well tell you now. Okay, so when I drag from the left, everything that's fully enclosed in the box will be selected. So if I wanted to just select this edge, I could drag a box around there. Because this is one object, I probably would have to fill the whole lot in to select everything. And I don't want that. I just want to select everything that I've drawn here, even the face that's um, underneath that I can't see. I want that to be selected. So I drag from the left. If I drag from the right, everything the box touches will be selected. Try to remember that. That's very handy for when you're trying to select individual parts. So I'm going to go from the left. All that box is selected. Because I haven't got the whole rectangle base in there, it won't be selected. Now I'm going to right click on that and go make component. I'll call that engine. Now we put two layers on top of each other. So there's a second layer up here. I'm going to use this component and duplicate it. There's no point drawing another piece because well, I want to make it quick. The idea of CAD is that it's quick and accurate. So what I'm using down here, fourth from the bottom, is called move. It'll be on rotate if that was the last tool you used, or it could be on scale or whatever. But we want to change it to move. So these are 4 arrowheads, a crosshair type thing. Now, when I move, if I just grab things willy-nilly from whatever, I can move them, but I've got no way to snap them, okay? What I want to do is be very considerate of where I select something. So what I'm going to do for this piece, I'm going to select it from that bottom corner here. I could select any of these bottom corners. I'm going to move it up the blue axis, okay? You can see the line is blue, not black, not green, not red. Okay, so you can see where I'm moving 90 degrees along the Y, along the X, along the Z. I'm going to do a very handy little technique. I'm going to press Control. Control will make me a perfect duplicate, the exact same part copied again. because I selected it from that corner, I can snap it to the next corner. And I've got my engine. Now, if you remember correctly, we disc sanded a little bit off the edge there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit these pieces. I'm editing, in real world is disc sanding. I'm editing a square to make it something different. I put a little taper on mine. I come in about 5 or 6 millimeters. So I'm going to pick either one of these will do because they're the same part. I'm going to double click on here, go into edit mode. Now, instead of picking a face and pulling it out or doing something, I'm going to pick an edge. So select edge. Okay, and did you notice how both of them moved at the same time? Because they're the same thing. They're an exact duplicate copy. I'm going to move that edge. I'm going to move it along that. For me, it's the green. You could be moving yours along the red, okay? I'm going to move it along the green axis, and I'm going to move it in 5 mil. So I just type in 5, hit enter. Both of them moved, even though I'm only editing one. I'm going to orbit around to the other edge, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Along the green axis, it tells me go in 5 mil. I also, on mine, I tend not to bring it in flush. Okay, so flush means they're all aligned here. If you do this in the workshop, you want to have this sanded really well. No burn marks, no sand marks, because you'll have trouble sanding that after it's attached. So for this one here, just to keep good practice, I'm gonna pick something like maybe the midpoint here. So it will snap to endpoints, midpoints, and intersections, okay, by default. And it'll snap to faces, but let's just use the midpoint on this edge here. They're both selected blue. If I can just pick one, but I want two, so the way I do that is I select, hold down shift, select another one. See a little plus and minus added? I can unselect two. Select what I want. Okay, so with the two parts here, blue selected, I'm going to click on move, go to my midpoint, and then I'm going to move it back on the red axis, and I'll come back 5 as well. You can see that it's already picked 5 down the bottom because it starts to realize that that might be a common variable that I use, but I'll type in 5 just to make sure, 5. So you can see why you would want that face sanded really well before you start gluing things together. Now let's work on the cabin. So we're going to draw it from a different angle this time. We're going to draw it flat down and rotate it up. We're going to draw this face of it, okay, which should be 65 by 19 if you think logically about it. I usually cut that, and don't forget this is going to be your design, you can change it. I usually cut that at 85 millimeters high. Now, once again, for me, I'm going to drag a box around it. If you're really having trouble with dragging the box around it, what you can also do is go 1, 2, 3, and triple click on it. It'll select everything that's kind of attached. Then I'm going to right click on it, make it a component, and call it the cabin. Okay, I'm going to do my move and duplicate again. So go to move, click this corner here, not this one, so the far one to the left. I'm going to move it along the red axis and press Control, make one copy of it. Click. Now I'm going to do something to make my life easy. I'm going to type in, I actually want 2x, 2 times that. And it'll make me a third. So I've gone 2 times, copy that. Okay. It looks a bit non-aerodynamic and flat, doesn't it? I mean, it still looks starting to look like a truck, but I need a windscreen. Now, if I take this and I go to the disc sander and I move that part back, there's a couple of problems here. All 3 are moving, which looks wrong, weird. We don't want that. And it's also moving from the very bottom, which gives us a big gap and looks yuck too. Doesn't what we want. So I'm going to press escape and go back. Let's fix one problem at a time. I was a bit slurred there. One problem at a time. I'm going to click on the first part, the front object, the front piece. I'm going to right click and I'm going to make it a unique piece. It's its own piece now. So when I edit, it shouldn't affect anything else. Escape. Now, to avoid that end going back like this, here we go. To avoid that, what I'm going to do is know where to disk sand. So you would basically put a line along here with a tri-square that was 1919, so 38 mil up from the bottom. And just like in real life, then when I come back on here, it looks more like an engine. For me, I'm coming back on the red axis, make sure it's not something like that. And I wouldn't come back to all the way to that edge. I don't think that looks very good because you've got a sharp edge there. So if you get it wrong, it'll look wrong. Okay, so what I'm going to do is come back about, for me, 12. Maybe I'll keep it lots of 5. So I'll come back 10 mil. So I typed in 10. So it went 10 mil from this edge back here. So there should be 9 millimeters there of material. Okay, so I've got, look like a truck. We've been recording for 20 minutes. I think we can get this done in the next 5. No, I tell a lie because we're going to do the wheels. Okay, so we need to put some holes in the base for the wheels, okay? So there's a few things we are going to learn to do. We're going to double click, go into edit mode. We're going to use a tape measure down here. Once again, that might not be the tape measure. It could be any one of these tools. It is a third up from the bottom. Pick the little tape measure. So the tape measure is going to put in some construction lines, we call them. They're going to be, let's see, the first one we're going to do is going to come down from the bottom and find the midpoint. It's telling me 10, but it's just rounding up because we know it's really 9.5. Half of 19 is 9.5. But I've got a blue dot there, which means it's a midpoint. So that's where I'm going to put a line. So I would run that with the marking gauge in the workshop. I would find the midpoint and I would run my marking gauge along there, be a light line. Okay. I want to come in from both ends and drill a hole. I'm going to use the tape measure again, and this time I'm going to come from this edge, not here. I'm going to measure in. Now, I make this different all the time. I think for the front, I'll come in about there. So I'll make it 40 mil. And I type in 40. From the back, I won't do it as far. I'll come in 30 mil. Now, I can move this later because I'm in CAD. I can play around. If I don't like what it looks like, I can shift it back and forth until I find what I like, and then I can go ahead and mark my job and drill it. I'm going to change a rectangle to a circle. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to cut from the intersection, we call that, where two lines join. I'm still in edit mode, by the way. So make sure there's that dotted frame around there. We're in edit mode. If you're not in edit mode, you need to be in edit mode for this, or you'll just be drawing a circle on top of an object. Okay, I'm going to draw a circle. Now it wants the radius there. I don't know if control, there is a way to change the diameter, but I know what diameters are. I'm going to drill that out with a 7 mil diameter drill bit, which means the radius would be half of that, 3.5. And I'm going to keep it like, because SketchUp doesn't do real circles, it does kind of these funny polygons, just so it works quick and does the math quick, geometry. I'm going to make it 3.5. There it is. I'm actually going to do a little trick now. I know that SketchUp draws a 24-sided object. I'm going to make mine a bit smoother, a bit rounder. I might double that and type this in. Okay, so as soon as I've done that circle, I'm going to type in 48S. And make it a bit smoother. Okay, so 48 sides. Now I'm going to come down here. I'm still in edit mode. If you accidentally click out of edit mode, don't forget you've got to double click and go back in edit mode. Zoom in. I want another circle here. Um, I'm going to go along that red, type in 3.5. Now it looks like it's still doing the 24, so I'm going to type in 48S. Do that again because I don't think it got my S right. So bring it on here, 3.5, 48S. There, a bit smoother. Okay, now I'm going to cut a hole. So I went to push, pull, and instead of pulling it out, I'm going to push it in. Now, you could orbit around here, and you could pick that face, and that would do it. Or you could stay where you are, and you could go, well, obviously that corner is the far side. Just click on that. Or if I can't see it, maybe the edge. And let's have a look. Yep, I've drilled all the way through my base. I'm going to leave those instruction lines there that I did with the tape measure. They'll come in very handy for me because finding the center of a circle can be challenging in SketchUp, okay? And they will help me. I'll delete them when I'm finished. Now I'm going to put in my wheels, okay? So I'm going to draw them on the job. I might do click once. Now have a look at this. When I draw the circle, it's kind of aligning with the inside of that face. I'll turn something on. You don't have to do this, but I'll turn on to show you. So I think it's on the glasses, and I'll show hidden geometry. You can see that that circle is like little flat lines, and my circle tool is lining up with them. I can get around that by using the arrow keys on my keyboard and find the right alignment. For me, I'm aligning it on the y-axis, which is green. Okay, I'm going to click once. I'm not in edit mode, by the way. I'm going to come this way. Now, when we do it in the workshop, we're going to do a 7mm hole here. That's so the axle will spin, will rotate, won't get jammed. But the drill bit is going to drill more closer to a 6mm hole in the center of your wheel, which will be perfect because that matches up with the dowel, the round timber that we're going to glue in. So I'm going to draw a 6mm hole. Maybe I'll make it, so I'll use a radius of 3mm. And I'll make that 48 sides again. So type in 48S, and it's a bit smoother. Now I'm going to push-pull that through, but only here. I'll fix that up later. I'm just going to go to that edge there. Look at one axle there, and I'm going to double click or triple click on it. It should have all gone blue, even the bits I can't see. So triple click, and if I come around here, I can see it's blue over the other way. And then I'm going to right click on it and go make component, and I'll call it down. I'm going to draw my wheel now. So once again, I'm going to go to circle, my intersection here, and I'll have a look first how big I want it. Now we've got a few various hole saws that we use in the workshop. I would suggest that we do it about, let's try about a 54mm. I know it's an odd size. 54mm hole, which will end up, this is a 54mm hole saw, which will end up with taking the inside of it, which I think will be about 52. So we'll do a 26mm radius. I'll make sure, it just makes it easier for you if you keep it either on like the blue here or the red there. I'm going to make it 26. So I'm typing in 26, hit enter. And once again, I'm going to type in 48S. It's a bit smoother. And I need to do that hole in the middle, which I'll do just, it snaps in to there. You can type in 3 mil if you want. And then I've got to make a decision whether I'm going to come out 12 mil and use 12 mil material for this, which looks quite good actually, or bring it out another 7 mil, 19 mil. In fact, I think I will do it 12. So I'm going to come back in here, 7 mil. Now, to make the wheels look a little more wheel-like, I'm going to do another hole saw in there. Maybe I'll use a 38 mil. Let's have a look what it looks like. So I'm going to take maybe my offset tool. Let's have a look here. So there's a tool down below, and the push-pull called offset. And I've got to do a little bit of math in my head now. You won't be that hard. I'm going to come from this edge. So the edge is all highlighted, right? So I've hovered over there. I'm going to click once. Do it again. Click, and I'm going to drag it in. Now, I guess I could use, maybe I'll use the tape measure to get it really accurate. So I'll use the tape measure. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, from this side here, see if I can do this. This intersection. Along here on the green. I'm going to measure out till I get to there. I see that. It should be aligned with this one. And then I'm going to measure in to there, at the center. Then I might wonder if I can come down here. No. Could probably do that, but what I'm going to do, actually, this will work out well for me. Okay. I'm going to work out where that ring, you'll see when I do it. Okay, from here out, I want to work out half of 38 is about 19, but I need to come in probably a mil to make an allowance for wholesale. So I'm going to come in 18. So I measured from the center, 18. And now when I do the offset, should be able to link it in like that. Now I'm going to offset again here. The hole saw is about, I'd say it would be about 1.6 mil, something like that. I should have gone half of that. Oops. Click once, bring it in, and go 0.8. Or just do it one. Come in, 1 mil. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to delete some of these lines. Now, if I run the delete, the eraser, which is second one down there, over here. Now, it won't delete the ones in that object, which I don't really want to delete, but I'm just showing you. Now, if that got a bit complicated, that's where I want you to rewatch it. Slow it down. I wasn't always that clear. I didn't explain everything I was doing. I want you to watch it and try to work it out as well. I'm going to go up here and click on my push-pull, and I'm going to take that. Now, the idea of doing that was that I would drill in maybe 1 or 2 mil. Maybe I'll go in 1 mil. Okay, so I end up with a wheel that looks kind of like that, which I think looks much better. I'm going to come over here and I'll turn off that hidden geometry and I'll hide this window. Hide it. Arrow. That looks like it. Okay. So I've got that wheel. I've got the axle. I'm going to triple click on that wheel, right click and make it a component. And this one I'm going to call wheel. Now let's move it. So I'm going to go move. I'm going to move it from that intersection this time. I'm going to be very particular because I want the wheels to line up. So zoom in if you have to. Select the wheel, go to move, pick your point you're going to move from. For me, it'd be that intersection. Move it along here. I'm going to press Control, so I get a double. And I'm going to go to here. Now I could then take both those wheels by holding down Shift and go, well, actually, I will do it this way because it'll be a lot easier. I'll just take it from anywhere along here, I reckon, this face here, so I can move it. As long as I stick to that green button, I'm going to press Control. Now, if I'm having trouble staying on the green, what I can do is hold down Shift. See, it goes thick, and now it'll stay on that path. And then I'll click on that edge there. Now, if I turn around here, they're facing the wrong way. There's a quick way to fix that. I'm going to go right click and go flip along green. Okay. That's the way I'm going to do it. But there's one little thing to do. There's an axle in here. I know it's in there, and I made it a component. I'm going to double click on it, click on that face, go push pull, and I'm going to bring it out to here. Get a better angle. There we go. That face. Now, on my actual model, I'll probably glue that in and sand it. But if I want to make it look a bit better, maybe I'll bring it out another. Oh, this will be perfect. What I'll do here is I'll bring it out a mil. Like that. You'll see why I do that in a minute. And maybe I'll take this. See if I can find the center. So I'm going to go from that corner. There we go, center. Keep it on the red axis by holding down Shift. And I should be able to that line. Let's move it to a different position. Make sure it's on the red axis. Okay. That should be it. If I zoom in here, have a look around. Yep, looks pretty centered. I'm going to come out to the other one. Now, did you notice that when I double click on that one there, I want to get up there, I want to get the actual. What I'll do, because I can't pick it, I'll double click on here. Now I've got that. And then I'll pick push pull, bring it up to there, and then I'll bring it out 2 mil. Now you notice how the other one is moving at the same time because of the one component. I'm going to bring that face 2 mil away from here. Or did I do one? I did one, so I'll go back 1 mil. Now I'm going to take the wheel. I may as well take both at the same time. I'll find a little point along that edge and I'll bring it out there. Show you why in a minute. 1, Shift, 2, move. There we go. So you can see that now there's a little gap, 1 mil gap. Probably too much, but anyway. The axle and the wheels will end up glued together, but they will rotate freely. There won't be any glue in this part here. That's the basic unit I gave you in the workshop. Um, let's get rid of these construction lines. So double click on that and go to erase. Now you need to add your components to it to make it look like your design. Change it around. Add something on the back, add a trailer, add a tray. If you were going to do the windows, you obviously will have trouble if you do it this way to cut in detailed windows. You'll have to think of another way to do it. And if you wanted to put a bull bar on, maybe use a 3D printer, print something out. We can go to the 3D printer from SketchUp. Okay, get that done. Make sure it's finished. I'm going to do another one for the Pucky game, and that will go in your folio. And I'll show you next lesson how to take this image and put in your folio. Last step. Unlike Onshape, if you've used that before, it doesn't save automatically. You have to go on save. I think some of the students I've seen go straight in their Google Drive, but just pick one of those folders and save it as give it a name you'll remember. Model Truck 2021 semester 2. You call it whatever you want. You won't have as much as I do in mine. And make sure you've saved it. When you see the name up there, you'll know it's saved. Saving, saved. Okay, done. I'm going to stop that. We went a bit longer than I thought, 41 minutes. You don't have to watch these videos in one big long go. You can do a bit, save, do a bit, and save. You can watch it many times. You can speed it up, slow it down, pause it, whatever you need to do. And you can also go beyond this video. If you need to, you can pause it, find another resource, get onto YouTube, have a look at the SketchUp website. There are millions of things, and millions of tutorials, and thousands of people that will help you and have already made videos and examples and websites. There's so much you can find. Okay, so that's how we intend to do it over the online learning period. Do the truck. If you're doing the truck, try to make it look like what you're doing. The idea of design and technology is the design. Okay, being able to say, this is where I'm heading, this is what I plan to make, make your modifications, do your evaluations at this stage, do your changes, see what it look like, do many versions of it. I I think really we could do 3 or 4 versions of this truck, with the base unit, try some different size wheels, try having one piece here instead of, 2 pieces instead of one. Have a look, get some feedback, show it to mum or dad, show it to your brother, sister, say, what do you think? What do you prefer? Do you prefer 1 or 2? That's design. That's taking the design cycle and evaluation and looking for input. By the way, that's 85 mil. I don't know, proportionally, that looks, you know, let's say it's 10% of timber that we use in the job. Um, if I didn't need it and I was making these as a production, maybe I was making thousands, millions of these. They were the most popular toy of 2021 lockdown. If I save 10% on every unit, effectively, what does that mean? Every 11th job or something is basically I'm making for free. If that makes sense to you, it means if I can save 10%, then every time I get to the 10th one, all that material is what I saved, making an extra one for free. So my profits would go up. So if I could reduce the amount of material, then I'm going to make more money, or I could charge less for it, and I could be more competitive. Okay, have a go at it. Pop me a message on Classroom or anyway, email. Classroom's probably better, and I'll try to answer it. If there's an aspect of it that you want to know more detail on, I'll do a little example of it. But have a go. You should all be able to do that without any drama. Okay. Have a nice day, guys.